What is up, guys, and welcome back to our St. Louis Blues Fantasy Draft Franchise Mode series. So we just did the draft. We added a couple of solid forwards in Burakovsky and Granlund. But here we are at free agency, and we are faced with a list of players that we could add to this team to improve on our chances of winning our second Stanley Cup in 3 seasons. Came up short last season against the New Jersey Devils. Unfortunately, we could not get past them to win our back-to-back, or to win repeat Stanley Cups, but we're still a very competitive team. Didn't get too many retirements, just a few forwards, but we replaced those mostly with Granlund and Burakovsky in the draft, and then guys like Dubois have progressed. He's up to an 83, so he could fill one of those holes that were left by the retirements. But looking at the guys in free agency, we have a few attractive options here. Daniel Sedin would be awesome to bring in to play alongside Henrik Sedin. The only problem I have with that is he's age 37, so he might regress to like an 86 or an 85 to start this next season. And $7 million would be a lot to pay for an 85 overall. But we do have $13 million in cap space to use. And we're pretty much all in right now, trying to win now. So I wouldn't be too opposed to that. Or we could look to get a guy like either Kyle Turris or Cam Atkinson, guys who could, they're younger, sub 30 in the age department, and they could play with us for a few years. And so I think we're gonna try to sign Sedin and somebody like Cam Atkinson. Both those guys could come in and play on the second line with Henrik Sedin this first season. We would just have an absolutely stacked third line as well, with like Granlund and Burakovsky and whomever else we have on this team, and a pretty solid fourth line as well. And worst case scenario, we can always make some trades at the beginning of the next season to clear out some spaces for our players. But before we get into that, let's just breeze through. I think I already did this, but yeah, I already offered 3 contracts, so that means I've already looked through these guys. So talk that shit. We are getting right into signing the big name players. It will help us that we do have a Champions tag. We've won a Stanley Cup the season before this. We were in the Stanley Cup Final last year, so guys will want to sign with us as long as we're giving them the money they're asking for. So Daniel Sedin would be a good pickup for 1 season. If we offer him $7 million, that'll give us $6 million left to work with. We could easily sign a Cam Atkinson with like $6 million. Let's take a look at Cam Atkinson's stats really quick just to make sure he's a guy I'd like to bring in. Yeah, high 80s pretty much all around, even on defense. How has he simmed these past 2 seasons? 66 and 58 points, so pretty good from him. And Daniel Sedin, 79 points and 75 points. He's got low 90s in some offensive stats, high 80s shot, high 80s defensively as well. So he'd be a really good second line forward for us. And then Kyle Turris, that's what he looks like. The thing about him is he's asking for a longer contract than Atkinson, and he's asking for a whole $1 million more per year than Atkinson. So I'd much rather bring in a guy like Atkinson, especially since we already have our second line center for this season in Henrik Sedin. So we'll go ahead and sign Daniel to a 1-year, $7 million contract, and we'll try to give Cam Atkinson 4 years, $5.5 million. Let's see what they say. And we have Anthony Mantha here as an RFA, and so if everything falls through that we try, everyone we try to sign, holy shit, if everyone we try to sign is not digging it, then we can just re-sign Anthony Mantha. Or if we have some success in signing these players, we can just see if a team will send Anthony Mantha an offer sheet, so then we can just get the picks from that. And then we can use those picks later to trade for more players or whatever. So let's advance a few days and see if we get the guys that we're trying to sign. And our prospects should come this day. So Mark Jankowski rejected us. That's unfortunate for him. Adam Pelech rejected us. But Carlos Carleto accepted our offer. So another goaltending prospect. We're gonna have to move somebody out from our goaltending spot, as we have quite a few guys there, pretty much filling the same role. So let's see if Atkinson and Sedin sign. Sedin is on the team. Atkinson rejected. Okay, well shit. Atkinson went to the Panthers, as did Jankowski. And Daniel Sedin basically said, you know what, I'm coming here because you got my brother. Henrik Sedin's on the team, so I would like to be on the team as well. So our backup option, really quickly I'm going to go look at our team, see what we need. I mean, we don't really need any of these guys, but they'd be nice additions. As from signing Daniel, our offense went up to an 80, or went up to a 96 from a 95. And let's go to contracts here. We have a bunch of old guys on this team. The Sedins will probably retire. Yager should retire after this next season. So here's our forwards. It'd be nice if included the guys in the system. So we have Strome and Dubois in the system, and Mantha is an option. So our first line is going to be the same: Draisaitl, Toffoli, Forsberg. Second line will probably be Sedin, and then the right winger. I'm not sure on that yet. Might just be Burakovsky. Might be Yager, if Yager doesn't regress too much. So that'll be our top 6. Our third line will be maybe Strome is an option. Granlund will definitely be third line center, unless he grows some this offseason. And then Yager and Vanek will be in the running. And then we have Bennett and Dubois as well to fill out our roster. So it'd be nice to sign another guy, but we don't really need to. Maybe look for a depth guy, maybe like a fourth liner. And then defensively, we're pretty much set. We have a really good top 6. And I don't feel like we need to add anybody. But if we have the money and no one else wants him, we can just sign Vlasic, I guess. Probably to... No, we won't have the money. I was going to say probably to less than 5 years, but then he'll want more money than we can offer. So that's not the best option. Let's see. Is there any guys with fourth line roles? They're down here in the 81 overall. Steve Downey. I don't think we want to bring in a guy like Steve Downey. He will just take a bunch of penalties. Luke Glendening. Nah. Looks like our fourth line might be full of more skilled guys this season. I could bring in a third checking line guy if they're really good defensively and they can kill penalties, but none of those guys really fit that bill. What about Clutterbuck? Nope, he does not either. So yeah, Daniel Winnick maybe? No. Okay. It's tough, man. This is tough. I don't really know what to do. We do have $7 million left. So it's just the case of if I want to spend it or if I want to hold on to it. And I'm leaning towards the hold on to it option because our lines are probably going to be really good as they are. And if nobody else wants Anthony Mantha, we can just re-sign him. Worst case scenario. So yeah, I think I'm just going to hold on to it and go ahead and sim to the next season. Nothing in terms of goaltending that we're interested in. Evan Fitzpatrick will be our backup goaltender for this season. So let's just go ahead and move on to the next season. Whoever let us out of this free agency menu. All right, so let's go ahead and sim to next season. So, what we're looking for here to start this next season, some progression from the guys that are younger. It'd be really cool if we could get some progression from guys like Draisaitl and Forsberg, if they could jump up to 90 pluses. I think Draisaitl's already there, but, you know, any additional growth is fine by me. We hope the Sedin twins don't regress too much. If they could stay at least 87s, that'd be fantastic. As still no one has put in an offer for Anthony Mantha yet. We'll probably just end up re-signing him, but looking at like guys like Yager, if he doesn't regress too much, he's already down to an 85, and Vanek at an 84. If those guys don't fall down too much, they might be able to fill out bottom line roles for us if they regress a little bit. And then defensively, it'd be nice to get quite a bit of growth from Sanheim, Chikrin, Provorov, Ryan Murray, if he could be a little bit better than 86, that'd be cool as well. And then Matt Murray in the net. He's probably our weak point of this team. As an 86 overall, it'd be nice if he could jump up to like an 88 or something. Yeah, we'll hold on to signing Mantha. Wait till the new season starts, so I can get a look at where he'd really fit in. But also growth from guys like Strome and Dubois at the NHL forward level. That'd be cool to see. But I feel like we're gonna have too many top 9 guys, not enough fourth liners, maybe even too many top 6 guys, not enough bottom 6 guys. It's a really weird way of saying that, but that's how I feel this team's looking. We're gonna be very competitive, very high-powered offense. We're gonna be scoring a lot of goals. The only question mark we're gonna have is how well our defense can limit other teams' chances, and how well of like checking our bottom 6 is going to be, and the play of Matt Murray. Those are going to be the biggest question marks for this season. I definitely have zero doubts in our offensive ability and our ability to put up goals. So let's check out some player progressions or regressions here, as I take a sip of water before I get into that. It looks like Brian Little is still a free agent. So if we could trade Mantha and then sign Brian Little, that'd be really good. But let's take a look at what we have here. Before we get into that, take a look at the roster moves. And let's go to forward. So Draisaitl 81, Toffoli up to a 90, Forsberg 88. In the system, where did Henriksen go? Okay, I see him. So that's our top line for sure. Draisaitl, Toffoli, Forsberg. Our second line though is looking to be Burakovsky. He's up to an 87, so he saw a little bit of growth. There's his stats. He'd be a pretty good second liner. Role as second line as well. Burakovsky with Daniel Sedin and Michael Granlund. And then Henrik Sedin will probably center... No. Granlund will be on the third line. Henrik Sedin will be on the second line. We don't want to split up the Sedin twins. They love playing with each other. That sounded so bad. I'm sorry. So we need 2 more guys to call up, and that's going to be Strome and Dubois, as they're both 85s. My goodness. So, yeah, that's our top 6. These first 6 guys listed here, with the exception of switching out Granlund and Sedin. So our third line is probably going to be Granlund, Strome, and Dubois. And then a fourth line of Sam Bennett, Jaromir Jagr, and Thomas Vanek. That is pretty crazy. Really good team. So if we sign anybody over an 85 overall, it's going to kick out Dubois and Strome from the top 9. Dubois is no longer CHL eligible, so I don't think I want to do that. So Brian Little's not really an option for us. Do we have any prospects down here? Yeah, Svechnikov's up to a 79. The other guys aren't really prospects, but Paquette and Dano do have fourth line roles, but I'm not putting them on this team. So defensemen, what do we have available here? We have Carlson, 93, Provorov, 88. Murray's still an 85, so no growth there from him. If anything, he regressed a little bit. Still 24, low elite. I'm not sure why he's not growing at all. Carl Alsner, 86 still. And then Chikrin's an 86, and Sanheim is an 82. They will round out the NHL squad. Not sure who I'm going to kick down to the third pairing. It might end up being Alsner, just because Chikrin and Murray have progression left and still have potential, I should say. But Sanheim looks like he's not progressing a whole lot. And then in the system, we have Bean and Wah, both low elite. Both those guys are up to 79 overalls. And then the other guys are just depth signings, so nothing to concern ourselves there. Goaltending, Evan Fitzpatrick's up to an 84. Wedgwood 86, Carletto 70, Wedgwood 78, not 86. Carletto 76. Jesus Christ. And then Vavalainen's up to an 83. My God. So Vavalainen, we might end up trading him. Or we might end up trading Fitzpatrick. We're gonna have to trade one of those guys to make room in the AHL. And they both have backup roles, and obviously we can't have both of them as backups. So we'll have to see what we can do there. And so yeah, it's our team. And we'll take a look at the lines really quick. We'll just best lines, see what that shows us, or has us here. So it puts Strome on the second line. Not a fan of that. As Daniel Sedin has better face-offs than Henrik, despite Henrik being listed as the center, and Daniel being listed as the left winger. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but we'll just switch them because it doesn't really matter. And then the third line here, put Dubois up there, Bennett right there. Okay. These face-offs, yeah, so Granlund's the best face-off guy there. We'll leave him there, and then Bennett on the fourth line. Okay, so that's what we're looking like. It's going to be tough to get these bottom guys the ice time they want, but we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. And defensively, what do we have here? Provorov and Carlson, definitely. Chikrin, Alzner. Might do this, and then Alzner can get his time, get his extra ice time on the penalty kill, as he's like the second best in terms of defense. And then goaltending looks like that. Alright, so let's make our goaltending trade. Probably looking to move out Vavalainen. We'll just see what we can get in return for him. Be nice to get some prospects we can throw on the AHL team, because we only have like 5 forwards and just a handful of defensemen. So it'd be cool to fill out some depth there. Fitzpatrick being 1 overall higher and 1 year younger, that leads me to and a higher potential. That makes me want to trade Vavalainen, and I believe I will do just that. Although he does have a better contract, as Fitzpatrick will need a new contract this season. But as long as he has that backup role, he won't be asking for too much money. So let's see what we can get out of Veini Vavalainen. I'd like to trade him to like a rebuilding team, so he won't come back to bite us in the playoffs or something. But I'm not sure if that's feasible. We'll see if we can trade him to the Ottawa Senators. Probably not though, because they have 6 goaltenders signed. So that is unfortunate. Yeah, Ottawa would have too many goalies. We are not interested whatsoever in taking a goaltender back as part of this trade. So I don't think we're going to be able to trade him to a bad team. Let's trade him to a good team. Could we get a second and third from the Ducks? I don't know. Let's look at their prospects first. See what they're looking to trade in terms of prospects. Krisky and Bracco as medium top 9 guys. That would be a pretty damn good target to shoot for. Which guy, though, is the question, as Bracco is expiring this season, but he's 4 overall points higher at 1 age older. They're both centers. We have a bunch of centers now, but you can always move centers to the wing with relative ease. I don't really know which one I would rather have. I don't really know. Bracco has slightly lower trade value, so I might go for him. Yeah, we'll just go for Bracco. Why not? Jeremy Bracco, whatever. I think we're gonna have to throw in a little bit more in this trade to make it go through. The value is just a bit low for us. So let's see if we can throw in. No. Anthony Mantha has insane trade value. Oh my god. We're going to get a haul for Mantha, and I'm actually going to try to make that trade now. So, Vavalainen and a 6th for Jeremy Bracco. Sure, we can go to roster moves. Go to edit lines and just change the lines in the AHL. Have to unscratch one of our goaltenders, it looks like. Goalies, Wedgwood, you go there. And Carleto will go here. Okay, substitute, yep. Alright, so let's see what we can get for Anthony Mantha, boys. I'd imagine we'd be able to get quite a lot. Mantha, alright, he's an 89 overall. Holy shit. But once again, he's a power forward, and his stats just don't really pop out to me. 85 offense, he's a sniper, but he's really a power forward. 5-star physical, 5-star skating, 5-star shooting. Only 85 offensive awareness and only 83 passing. And his 3.5-star defense isn't the best. So I'm not really intrigued by keeping him around. He only scored 26 points last season. He played quite a bit of time on the second line and couldn't really perform. So let's see what we can get in return for Anthony Mantha. I don't really know what I'm looking for here. With his trade value, we could probably get a bomb-ass goaltender, honestly. We could probably get a guy like John Gibson, maybe. He should be a fairly young guy, which was what we should be looking for, as I just struggle to get that out. Holy shit. We'll just see what's out there really quick for goaltenders. And see what we can get for Mantha. Carey Price. I don't really want a guy that's that old at 31. He should start regressing sooner rather than later. And the thing about trading Mantha is we're not getting rid of any cap hit. So we're going to need to be asking for a guy with a relatively good contract, or at least a relatively low cap hit in return to fit him on this team. Not interested in Laner. Nope. I'm sorry for how boring this probably is to you guys, but John Gibson's right here on the Panthers. 90 overall, age 25, 2.3 million on his contract, so he seems to be an ideal guy, or an ideal option. But we will keep looking really quick. Bobrovsky as well. He's probably on a major contract. Yeah, 7.4 mil for 1 season. So we'll keep an eye, or we'll consider Gibson and Bobrovsky on Florida, and then whatever team's after Florida, I forget. But we'll keep looking. Once again, sorry for how boring this is. It turned out that our offseason was a lot better than expected. And I'm not too interested in Rask just due to his age at 31, and he has $7 million on his contract left for 3 seasons. I did not think that Mantha would have such a high trade value, and I did not think that I could be looking for an elite goaltender in return. Holy shit, Korpisalo. Medium elite potential, 90 overall, age 24, 2.2 mil for 1 year. So he's similar to John Gibson. So we'll consider Gibson from the Panthers and Korpisalo from the Flyers as potential trade options. I'm not really seeing a whole lot else other than those two guys. So we're basically trading for a top 5 goaltender in the game. Actually, Anderson wouldn't be too bad of an option. Let's take a look at him again. 89, age 23. 3 years left on his $5 million deal. So $5 million is really good for an elite goaltender. So that would be a really good cap option. But I'm going to try to shoot for those younger guys first. His Thatcher Demko is our trade value. Holy shit. But he is not in the spot to be our number 1 just yet. I'm sure he will be in the future. Braden Holtby, 92 overall, age 28, 6 mil for 2 years. What does he look like? Pretty good stats all around. I can't believe he was a 4th round pick. That's a really good 4th round pick for the Capitals. Holy shit. 93 save in year 1, 917 in year 2. He'd be a pretty good option, but I'd like to see. I'm gonna see what that does to our cap really quick. They have more than 45 skaters. That's just barely under the cap for us. So let's go look at the Panthers first. And John Gibson. That's probably going to be really off. Woefully insufficient. So we'd have to add quite a bit to this deal. But I'm fine doing that. I might just honestly try to trade Matt Murray back to whomever that I'm trading for. Just because we wouldn't have any room for him on our team anymore. We would have... we'd have Gibson, Murray, and Fitzpatrick. And that's just too much. We don't need that much on our NHL squad. So Cedarholm, he would be a pretty good option to get in return. Let's just see what this trade value is. The value sending our way isn't sufficient at all. So let's go look at the Flyers. See if they would like Matt Murray in return. They don't even want Mantha. So that'd probably be a really tough sell for the Flyers. We'd have more than 45 skaters in the organization, so let's see if we can take a guy back. They're not wanting to trade anybody, so that'd be tough to do. I forget where Frederick Anderson was. Was he back on the Leafs? No. He's on the team before the Leafs, so he's on the Lightning, it looks like. Yeah, Frederick Anderson on the Lightning. They do want Mantha. Tampa Bay would have too few goalies. So we could do Matt Murray and... We could do Matt Murray in a different trade, honestly. So I could just throw them Wedgwood in this trade, and we could re-sign somebody to fill that AHL role. It doesn't really matter. What does this look like in terms of trade value? The value on the table is too far off, so we have to throw in a little bit more than this. This video is getting much longer than I expected it to. Holy shit. Do they want anybody down here? Don't want to trade any of those guys. Goaltending, nobody there. Draft picks, we throw in like a third. That's probably not enough. Isn't sufficient at all. Could we throw in a second? Too far off still. Okay. So let's go back to Florida, because John Gibson would be a really, really good option for us to pick up. So let's see if we can get John Gibson. And then throw in a first. Would that get it done? Nope, isn't sufficient at all. Holy shit. This is going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough to get through. But we'll throw them... We'll try to throw Matt Murray in this deal. We're going to take back a player in return. So they have too many skaters or too many players? Too many players. So we could take back a goaltending prospect. We don't need a goaltending prospect. Never mind. Never mind. Could we just take a throwaway player they're trying to get rid of? Maybe somebody way down here on this list. Ruskinen. Let's try to get Ruskinen. Will that go through? And it will. Okay, so Anthony Mantha, the RFA that does not fit on our team anyways. We don't have a spot for him. And we're trading Matt Murray up to John Gibson. So I probably gave away too much there, but we didn't have a spot for Mantha. And it's a huge goaltending upgrade to go from... I need to get rid of somebody. To go from Matt Murray to John Gibson. At least in this iteration of the game. Send down Ruskinen to the AHL. Yep. I have to edit the lines. So this is going to be a bit of a cap situation next season, as John Gibson is going to be a free agent, or he's going to need a new contract. I think he might be an RFA, so that would help us out a little bit. But at $2.3 million this season, being a 90 overall, or elite goalie role, he's going to be asking for a pretty penny. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. If you'll remember, we're in win now mode. So that's goal number one, is to win the Stanley Cup. Win as many Stanley Cups in whatever window we have to do so. Meaning like until so many of our guys retire that we have to rebuild. I'm not sure if that's even going to be a thing for us. Because we have a lot of good young players on this team. But we'll see. That is in the future, and we are looking at the present right now. So, yeah, that's going to be it for this video, boys. As always, if you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe down below. Also, leave a comment. And I probably overpaid for John Gibson, but he's going to be a Conn Smythe winner this season. He's going to win the Vezina. You guys know the deal. He's going to be the greatest of all time in Blues history. He's going to be a Blues legend. So, in the next video, I will be simulating up to the All-Star break or the trade deadline to see if we need to slow down and make any moves. But I doubt we will. I'll see you guys next time.